Hi, once again welcome back to CBSE Board Economics. I am Siddham Sen. We are discussing central bank's functions. In the last video, we discussed central bank has 5 important functions. What are these 5 functions? The first function is central bank has the sole authority of issuing currency. The second function is the central bank is the banker of the government, and the third function is central bank is the banker's bank, and the fourth function is central bank is the lender of the last resort, and the fifth function is central bank is the custodian of all foreign exchange reserves, and the last function is the main responsibility of the central bank is monetary policy, that is credit control and credit expansion. So we're discussing all these functions in detail one by one. The first function we explained nicely. Now we go to the second function of the central bank. What is the second function? Second function is central bank is the banker's bank. You remember we discussed it when we were differentiating between central bank and the commercial banks. Central bank is not the public bank, is not for the public. Central bank is the banker of the government, whereas commercial banks are banker for the public. Central bank is the banker of the government. This function we are discussing in detail. What it means, banker of the government, all the government receipts in terms of taxes and whatever the foreign exchange the government is receiving from abroad by exporting goods to other countries are retained by the central bank. So let's see the functions of the central bank. Banker to the government. We have central government as well as state governments. All these governments have their accounts with the central bank. What it means, the first one, the central bank accepts receipts of the state and central government. Accept receipts. Whatever the receipts the central governments are getting, we discussed it. It can be in terms of revenue receipts, it can be in terms of capital receipts, it can be in terms of administrative receipts, it can be in terms of direct taxes, indirect taxes, commercial revenue. The government is borrowing from other countries, the government is borrowing from World Bank, the government is borrowing from IMF or disinvestment. All these receipts are kept with the central bank. So the first function is the central bank accepts receipts of the state government as well as the central government. The second point, when the central bank accepts these receipts, obviously whenever the government needs these, they take it from the central bank. Why does the government need it? Maybe they want to pay salaries, maybe they want to send some remittances abroad, maybe they want to construct infrastructure of the government. So the central bank makes payments to the government. It accepts the receipts as well as makes payments to the state governments as well as the central government. And the third one you have, it carries out exchange, remittances, whatever the money the central bank government is getting from abroad, and other banking operations. It carries out exchange, remittances, and other banking transactions are done by the central bank for the government. The fourth point, it provides short-term credit to the government. In case of any emergency, the central bank also provides loans to the government, short-term credit. So the central bank accepts all receipts to the government, the central bank pays payments to the government, it maintains all the remittances and other banking operations, and in case of any need, the central bank also helps the government by giving them short-term credit. Next one, it manages public debt. What exactly is public debt? The government or the central bank, not the central bank, the government, central government or the state governments, when they need it, when there is an emergency, they must have borrowed from the public. That's called public debt. for administration, running of the government. So all these accounts are maintained by the central bank, public debt. And it manages public debt. Next one, it provides foreign exchange resources to the government to repay external debt. The government must have borrowed money from other countries. The government must have borrowed from World Bank. The government must have borrowed from International Monetary Fund. So who maintains all these accounts? The central bank, and central bank issues foreign exchange to the government to repay the loans which they borrowed from other countries. And the last point you have, it advises the government on banking and financial matters. It advises the government on banking and financial matters. So once again I repeat, the second important function of the central bank is banker to the government. Central bank maintains all the banking accounts of the central government as well as the state governments. The second point, central bank maintains all the receipts of the government. The third point, central bank makes payments to the government. The next point, central bank maintains public debt of the government. Central bank issues foreign exchange to make the payments for the loans the government has taken from other countries. It advises the government on banking and financial matters. So we repeat once again the headlines here. So banker to the government, this is second function of the central bank. So you can see it here, the central bank accepts receipts of the state and central governments. The second point, the central bank makes payments to the government that carries out exchange remittances and other banking operations. It provides short-term credit to the government. It manages public debt. It provides foreign exchange resources to the government to repay external debt. And the last point, it advises the government on banking and financial matters. So that's why we call it central bank is not the public's bank. It is the banker to the government. That's all we have time for today. Till we meet next time, it's goodbye from Saddam Hussein. Work hard for the board exams. Take proper care. Until we meet next time, bye-bye.